Video games that begin with bio. Bioshock, Biohazard, can you think of any others? Well, let's add one right now, how about that? Because today we are reviewing Biomorph. Does this stylish Metroidvania transform into greatness, or does it morph into a stinky pile of poo? Let's find out in our full review. But hey, why don't you consider supporting transformative gaming coverage? Head on over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames and you can gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community, early ad-free shows, shoutouts at the end of every video we produce, and even free games depending on the tier you select. Your train ride to indie greatness and far away from the echo chambers of gaming awaits you. Biomorph is a beautiful-looking Metroidvania title with a unique twist, the ability to transform into the enemies that you defeat. The beautifully animated intro instantly sets the tone as we are introduced to lead character Harlow, escaping some sort of crumbling facility. Harlow is an interesting-looking character, almost like a rare Pokemon breed crossed with a Mega Man boss. But the same can be said for many of the character designs throughout Biomorph. All of this basically leads to tension between two different species, and the story continues on from there. Even though I wasn't a massive fan of the plot overall, nor did I feel all that attached to any of the characters, it's difficult not to be drawn into the world of Biomorph. The gorgeous animated cutscenes, excellent visual design, and top-notch sound production at the very least make for an interesting world, despite the writing not being particularly strong. Being a Metroidvania, players can expect massive areas to explore, secrets aplenty, and a pretty cool combat system. Harlow can equip a variety of special attacks to whichever button you assign, but more interesting than that is the ability to copy the code of your enemies and eventually turn into them. Each character that you turn into has a unique set of abilities. One monster may be able to bash into walls, another can create platforms so you can reach otherwise unreachable areas, and of course they all come with different attacks as well. This system works pretty good here, and even better, should you possess the same enemy a set number of times, you'll gain their genetic code permanently and can transform into them at any time. The morphing mechanic was by far my favorite aspect of the entire game, and is used in clever ways, whether it be defeating bosses or solving puzzles. Players will also be able to equip mementos for added benefits, but do note that your loadout will typically need to be changed at one of the game's many save points, and cannot always be altered at your own free will. Combat and exploration feel quite good, but Biomorph also features an entire town for you to build out called Blightmoor. Here you can eventually unlock more and more shops that will aid you in your quest. Worried about getting lost or confused in this massive world? Fear not, as both the large version of the map and the mini-map are well labeled with your goals for the most part. This map also does a pretty decent job of pointing out key locations. I also found the travel system to be very well implemented, making the process of getting around the world of Biomorph a breeze. As far as difficulty was concerned, this one does put up a pretty decent fight, but it didn't feel overwhelmingly challenging outside of some pretty severe difficulty spikes when dealing with bosses. Yes, as is usually the case with this genre, some of the boss encounters were a little bit irritating, though manageable for the most part. Another interesting feature is in the AI of the enemies themselves, who will adapt and learn new skills as you progress, helping to keep combat engaging and fresh throughout what is a pretty large game that is chock full of secrets and has various paths and different ways to go. There's so many different ways to customize Harlow that the combat mostly stays engaging throughout. Strike from a distance if you wish with guns and bombs, or bash enemies close range, it's entirely up to you. Visually, I know I already mentioned how pretty Biomorph is, but I really can't emphasize enough how gorgeous that art truly shines. Each area is vibrant, some soaked in rain, some with faint rays of sunshine. Animations are just incredible, and creature designs quite fascinating. The developers deserve a good deal of credit in creating one of the most beautiful Metroidvania titles that I've played in recent memory. The cinematic score is also really well done. It's striking with sound effects that are convincing and visceral. The art team has spared no expense in production values, and it shows. Some really nice pianos, some gorgeous synths, it all works together beautifully. And as far as performance was concerned, I didn't run into any major glitches or crashes throughout the campaign. Frame rates remained consistently smooth without any notable hitches. I did give the game a brief spin on the Steam Deck as well, where I found the performance to be exceptional. It's a mostly locked 60 frames per second, and I have to say that the art just looked jaw-dropping on the smaller screen, so this is a great fit for the Steam Deck. Biomorph is a great Metroidvania with a unique twist on the genre. Yes, the boss difficulty difficulty spikes were a little frustrating, and the story doesn't quite match up to the amazing visual style, but it's a highly enjoyable Metroidvania game that belongs in any fan of the genre's collection. I'm gonna go ahead and award Biomorph the wonderful Silver Genie Lamp of approval.